I'm Dr. Vipin Tyagi from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. Today, from this lecture onwards, we are going to start a series of lectures in which we shall discuss the major topics of communication. Before we actually proceed further to discuss communication, let us know briefly about the role of communication in our social, professional, and technical life. As you know that communication has a vivacious role to play in the present information revolution age and serves a number of purposes in social, professional, and engineering fields. Today it is a way of facilitating information about technical knowledge spreading all over the globe. No organization can stand and work without it, as each and every person working there has to communicate important masses throughout the day. It is also a way to share their knowledge and establishes mutual understanding amongst them. Today it is a major part in many of the industries. George R. Terry states about the role of communication that communication serves as a lubricant posturing for the smooth operations of the management process. Briefly speaking, communication plays significant role in business, technical advancement, negotiation, coordination, managerial efficiency, better productivity, effective leadership, decision making, etc. Now, just after understanding the role of communication, let's understand communication. The term communication is derived from the Latin word communicare, that means to share and to participate. But when the word came into English, its meaning was multiplied. Today, it is a process of sharing information, facts, ideas, opinion, etc. It is a means through which individuals in organization share information and understand one another. In other words, it is a transmission and interchange of views and ideas with different people. Although it is a challenge to give a proper definition of communication since it involves a complicated process, yet there are some famous definitions given by well-known intellectuals. According to American Management Association, communication is any behavior that results in exchange of meaning. Mr. B. Brown says, communication is the transmission and interchange of facts, ideas, feelings, or course of action. Here, one important definition is given by Alan Lewis. He says, communication is the sum of all things one person does when he wants to create understanding in the minds of another. It involves a systematic and continuous process of telling, listening, and understanding. Here in this definition, what do you see? Yes, imparting or exchanging information by some other medium. Let's take the another definition. According to Murphy et al., simply stated, communication is a two-way process of exchanging ideas or information. These definitions show that communication is more than speaking and listening. It is a complex two-way process including signs, symbols, body language, and other linguistic forms. The definitions we have discussed show some important characteristics of communication. Let's see them. It involves at least two parties, a speaker and receiver. It involves transfer of ideas or information. Understanding is essential here. It is a two-way process. Message is sent and feedback is received. It is systematic and dynamic process. Now let us talk about classification of communication. We have already learned that communication is situational and it is used accordingly. Somewhere we are formal than informal. Sometimes we use written communication than oral one. sometimes verbal and sometimes non-verbal. So we can classify communication through 4 categories according to channel, method, expression and direction. Let's take the first one, that is channel. According to channel, communication can be of 2 types, formal and informal. The second is method. According to method, it is again of 2 types, oral and written. Oral communication takes place through spoken words. It may be in form of face-to-face communication, telephonic communication, communication through video conferencing and teleconferencing, etc. It is the fastest way of exchanging information. The other is written communication. It is a communication in form of applications, letters, circulars, bulletins, magazines, etc. It is the most authentic way of communication, without which no organization can survive. The other classification is expression, and according to expression, this is again of 2 types, verbal and non-verbal. Verbal communication means communication through words, or when we use words in communication, speaking or writing, we say it is verbal communication. So the information in verbal communication can be either oral or written, while non-verbal communication is the communication without words, like gestures, postures, facial expressions, attire, and by other non-verbal forms. The next classification is direction, and according to direction, communication is divided into 3 basic categories. First, vertical communication, including upward and downward communication. Second, horizontal or lateral communication, that is also known as peer group communication. And the final one is diagonal communication. So today we have gone through communication, its introduction, its definitions, role of communication and its classification.